This is a video about blocking your knitting. So I've got a piece of knitting here that has some garter stitch at the bottom and then some garter on the sides and stockinette in the middle and then garter at the end again. This is a pattern on Ravelry called Easy Fingerless Mitts by Roxanne Richardson. You can knit this and then seam up on the sides here and leave a hole for the thumb. They're just simple little, that's the cuff there and the top of your hand there, and they're just simple little fingerless mitts. A really good pattern for someone learning how to knit. Now this piece of knitting hasn't been blocked, and over here this is a piece of knitting that has been blocked. So I think this is a really good illustration of what blocking your knitting can do. It evens out the stitches. It may not be super easy to see in this video, but these stitches are definitely, they've filled out, they're laying more uniformly, particularly the ones that are on the side where you change from stockinette to garter. These ones over here, they're much more even and standing up straight. It also fixes a lot of this curling that's going on here. So you would normally want to, before you sewed this pattern up, you'd want to block it and lay it out flat. You don't really want to stretch all of that out. You wouldn't stretch that out and pin it, because you actually want that to be a little bit compressed, which is the nice thing about garter. And if that's on your wrist, that would be a little bit compressed there. But you do want to neaten out the stitches and even up the work a little bit, and it would actually be a lot easier to sew up after you've blocked your knitting. So all you do is you put this in some warm water, about 40 degrees, and sort of, because this is wool, you don't have to knit it with wool, but wool is a nice choice. You want to squish the water into it, because wool naturally wants to repel water, and let it sit in the water for about half an hour, and then come back with something this small. You could just even use a face washer or a towel and just lightly squeeze the water out of it, then squeeze it in a towel and then lay it out flat to dry. I didn't pin this at all. I just put it on a towel on my bed under a ceiling fan and went off to work and came back, and it was done. Now I kept these two, one unblocked and one blocked, so that you could see the difference that it makes to block your knitting. It looks a lot nicer and it will be a lot easier to sew up, and it's the finished object just looks a lot tidier.